Welcome to Guys in the Zone Talk Show, your place for news and tips on land and life in Costa Rica's Southern Pacific Zone.
Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Rod.
And we're the Guys in the Zone here in Uvita, Costa Rica, and the date is February 2nd, 2012. We've let a little time go by. We have discovered, as the season has begun and roared right along since the holiday season, that our talk shows and the topics that we've chosen to address in our talk shows have been appreciated and helpful to some people who have moved to the area. And so today I have asked Rod to accompany me as usual for a talk show, but what we didn't do as usual is that I didn't tell him what the topic was going to be. And so the topic today is just me asking Rod a couple of questions with no preparation whatsoever, and they're based on some of the trends that we've been dealing with over the course of this season, which I would say the season's been rolling along for roughly 6 weeks. Is that about right? Maybe something like that, yeah. So anyway, here we go, Rod.
Okay.
Question number one.
I'm just wondering how personal they're getting.
Yeah, right. How are things? No.
I have nothing to hide.
Okay, what we have noticed is that there's a growing group of prospective clients for land here in the Uvita area that could be called early retirees. These are people who are coming, who are looking to retire and move to Costa Rica earlier than what would be considered conventional patterns of life, earlier, like 50s, say, early 40s, and some, either side of that bracket. So my question, Rod, is for such ones, what single tip comes to your mind that you would like to share with them in picking out a piece of property here in the zone?
Wow, that's a good one. All right. Single tip. Now these are early retirees, right?
Early retirees.
Okay. Well, I think oftentimes people fall in love or are focused on the ocean view. And I think as people spend more time in this country, 3 or 4 years, the ocean view starts to become a little less important.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think that a quality property doesn't necessarily mean the biggest view. And to be more open, I think, to a property that maybe has a beautiful valley view and lots of room to build, and maybe some other characteristics that some of our ocean view property have smaller building sites, but people are okay with that because the view is so big. I think that that's one of them. The other thing is get to know the different areas in the zone. Dominical has a different feel than Uvita, that has a different feel than Ojochal. And I think if we spend a little bit of time, like one day in Uvita, you might not get the feeling of it as much as if you can come and be here and look around for a little while, that might end up leading you to get the right thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Question number 2. General living tip. Now, we're not talking about just real estate. Okay, general living tip for making a move to live in Costa Rica.
Well, generally people like to be near the beach. When they first come here, they think that, I had the same feeling. I want to be close to the beach. What you realize is the beach is a little hotter. It tends to not have as much air motion. And one of the really cool things about the topography here is there are a lot of properties where you get up on the hill and you get the benefit of that natural breeze. We have a breeze every day that comes off the ocean. And it really helps. It saves you on air conditioning bills. And at nighttime, you get the mountain breeze that comes off the mountain. It's nice and cool at night here, especially if you get up into a little bit of elevation. And when I say that, I don't mean you have to drive to San Isidro in order to get high enough where, you know, you're cool. I'm cool at my house, and I live, you know, right off of the coastal highway.
Yeah, but dude, you're cool anywhere.
Well, thank you. Takes one to know one, right? But I would say, you know, 10-minute drive up these mountains, and, you know, there's a lot of really nice property that takes advantage of that air motion, that daily air motion.
Good.
Yeah.
So you kind of go right to picking your spot where you want to set up. You know, it's interesting with real estate, talking about real estate, it's like the first step for so many people, for so many of us, I should say.
Yeah.
In life, you know, it's like, where am I going to live? Where am I going to do business? And this change in our market has been an interesting one, as far as just getting to know people and trying to learn the needs that people have in our changing world that we're in, with the economic changes that are going on. There's a lot of just trending differences. People are getting much more interested in things that used to be considered, you know, taken care of by somebody else. Things like farming, you know, cultivation of food and water and things like this. One thing that I wanted to mention, and I guess what stimulated my thought regarding these questions, is that in looking back over the years that I've been here and looking at the number of people, over the years the community has grown. Uvita is growing. So in talking about moving here, it was people that we would consider to be traditionally, you know, successful or professional people. You see them, I have seen them, really evaluating what is necessary to move here. And frequently, of course, the question of dollars and cents enters the picture. And we've certainly seen an upsurge in interest in income-generating properties. Even retirees are looking now for properties that will generate income via B&B or vacation rental.
That's right, and it's interesting you say that, because after I answered those questions and I had a minute to think about it, if I had it to do over again, instead of just buying a piece of raw land that I still haven't built on, I would have looked for either a small house or a property, a cheaper property that I could have built something on to at least be able to create some kind of income or have a place to stay. And if it doesn't work out for whatever reason here in Costa Rica, you have an easier chance of selling a property with a house on it.
It has that feature to it. And so one point I'd like to make in this episode, if you will, is that if you are interested in income generation, mixing that with your choice of property that you want to buy, we've got some ideas that we can share with you. We can set up a Skype visit or come down and visit. But in any case, one of the things I have noticed is that is a real determiner of success versus failure here in the zone is that when there are grandiose plans, coming into Costa Rica with the idea of doing something that perhaps you're quite capable of doing in a different environment, in a different country.
That's right.
Costa Rica is the great humbler.
It is. It is. Well, we had a couple of people last week or earlier this week that said, well, I know how to build, you know, so I'll just get a few guys and I'll build my own house. And I have to bite my lip a little bit, because that's a recipe for, if not disaster, frustration at the very least, because there's a reason why the builders who are still here and still building after the downturn are doing it. It's because they have the experience and they've made all of the mistakes that a first-time home builder with some experience in building homes would make.
Good.
Here.
And I'm even inclined to think that the old strategy of lotification, of buying a large property and cutting it up into smaller pieces, I think that's kind of had its day. I think that's a little bit passé. What we're seeing now, there's a tremendous demand for vacation rentals in the zone. There certainly is a demand for bed and breakfasts, which is a whole choice of life, style. If you're into having people in your home and fixing them breakfast, and some people are. It's fun to share what we do here with people. I just had some friends visiting from Davis, my hometown, that I hadn't seen in years, and they came down just to watch them with their renewed, with their, they're impressed, with the area. It's beautiful and it's nice. It's the weather's perfect. There's toucans in the trees and all this kind of stuff, and it just helps us to remember why it is we came here and so on. But the people who have done very well here have moved here with a view to living.
That's right.
And so it frequently requires kind of notching down a little bit some of the expectations, or even the required pattern of life where you have a substantial income. Perhaps you have a little bit of a nest egg under you, and your lifestyle in Costa Rica just kind of runs right at maintenance mode. Granted, you have things like health concerns, you have to be able to buy a car, you do want to be able to travel, and things like that. So we understand that an absolute, what would you call it, a parity or being at a maintenance mode does involve being able to set aside a little bit. But in any case, these kind of expectations, lowered expectations, are the ones that do well here, and that what we focus on is instead of the, and pardon this generalization, but the United States frame of mind where it has to be progressive, it has to be growing, and it has to be making more money all the time in order to be okay. What about
sustainable?
What about sustainable? What about finding a pattern that is pretty nice?
It's a rhythm.
And holding that, with that mindset, that would be the one thing that I would encourage anybody who's moving here to consider, is when you move to Costa Rica, have as your principal objective living. Thanks for watching, and we'll try and be a little more regular with our episodes. We kind of let a period go by here, but we appreciate your interest.